What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Two of Our Own. This week, it's currently 10:32 after the West Ham game. You guys will see this on Wednesday, but recording this Tuesday after the West Ham game. Before I ask Harry his thoughts on that, because he is itching ready to go, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah, apart from the Spurs game, my day's actually been all right. To be honest.
I've had a day off today, actually. I've not done a lot. So,
All right. I had a bit of train issues in the morning as normal with a bloody Piccadilly line, but apart from that, my day's been pretty chilled until I watched Spurs game.
Until that. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't very happy with that, to be honest. I don't get to watch, a lot of people that know me know I don't get to watch a lot of Spurs games because of the schedule of how I work. So the few times I do get to watch them, it's nice to see us win. But that was not winning. That was not even trying to win. That was fucking awful. I'm going to start by saying, right, for me, our best two players, best three players to be fair, because I thought Romero was quite good, but our main best two players were Van der Ven and Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, I agree with that.
For me, I think everybody else, to be fair, Destiny and Porro, I don't really think they put a foot wrong. I think West Ham was sat so deep that it made their jobs near on impossible. But from our midfield three, Basuma, Bentancur, Maddison, I don't think there was any real urgency. I don't think there was any real direction. And I think the attack were feeding off scraps, to be honest. I think Son, for me, I don't know what the fuck's going on. We'll have a whole chat about him.
David,
I was so disappointed.
I don't know if you watched our preview stream on Monday, so please go back and watch it. So I was moaning about Son. Yeah. TJ was moaning about Ange. We'll go on to that later. And Harry was defending Werner. But anyway, so basically, it was a very crazy show. The comments were just going absolutely ballistic because obviously Son's the club captain. So if anyone says anything bad about Son,
free from criticism, apparently.
Yeah, pretty much. And what I was saying has been, you know how people will say, I'll say something, and even you will say something online or whatever.
Yeah.
And they go to the extreme. So do you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, even Harry was doing on the stream. But you have to go and watch it back. Like, it was a crazy stream. It was just the discussions we were having were just so, just like, anyway. But for me, I agree with you about the midfield. I think we need to look at something else, though. I'm not saying, I don't have to phrase this without me coming across as
criticizing. Just say it. It's never stopped you before.
So Basuma has been a passenger since Luton.
Agree.
He's probably had one good game.
I think I've tweeted that 15 times in the last 3 weeks.
And I've actually seen some other Spurs YouTuber, I'm not going to name her because it's nothing personal, just defend Basuma's performance tonight. I thought he was very plain, like it was very meh. Bentancur, I'll give him a little bit of slack because he had the ACL, so I'm not.
He hasn't looked the same since that injury. I think he needs a full pre-season injury.
I don't know what's going to need to come back to that level. I don't know. With Maddison, now a lot of the Leicester fans told me after he comes back from injury he's like this, but for me it's been like a month since then, and apparently he is carrying a knock still. But I've noticed something with opposition teams. And I noticed, especially in the first half, they just go and knock into him straight away.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays, because they know he's our...
Right, sorry, 2 seconds. You set me on a rant now. Can we just talk about how the fuck Paqueta fucking sending Maddison flying on the edge of their box by going... wasn't a foul. Please tell me. Because Paqueta did that 4 fucking times.
Yeah.
Not a single booking.
But they are targeting him. I'm not saying this is like he's a victim or something, but because it's going to happen. It was going to happen eventually.
But I think that's why during the game I said to my stepdad, I said, we need to bring Kulusevski on for Maddison. Kulusevski got that bit more physicality. He's just as good creatively, I would argue, centrally. It's just the problem became that we were trying to play one-touch passes and credit to West Ham, right? Fair enough. They defended absolutely fantastically. They were resolute. They were mature. They were the defending performance was absolutely brilliant. Probably the best defensive performance West Ham have put in against us for a while, to be honest. But when we haven't got the pace on the wings, I feel like this is a really odd one because we had Brennan Johnson and Werner on the wings for the pace against a low block that didn't require pace. It required creativity. I would have argued that in this game, we'd have been better Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski as our starting front three because Son and Kulusevski didn't need the pace in this game. You know, when we were playing against Luton, Brennan Johnson was great and Werner were great because we could blitz them. They're going to attack us. They're going to leave space in behind. It's a great game for them. When you're playing against a low block and you need to get key balls into the box, and for me as well, the biggest thing, you can't play off Son. When you've got defenders like that, you can't play off of him.
No presence with Son up front.
Richarlison's physicality, for me, that would have given the midfield so much more space to run beyond. And I understand Son's record against West Ham is great, and I understand Son's more clinical than Richarlison. But in that moment, you didn't need your striker to be clinical. You needed your striker to be on the end of crosses, which Richarlison would have been a better option for, and you needed your striker to hold the ball up for your midfielders to run beyond, which Richarlison would have been a better fit for. I don't think the game plan by Ange was wrong. I think the way which personnel he chose to execute it was wrong.
The issue with, like, for me is more just is the actual style, if I'm being honest with you. Because you say play Son and Kulusevski on the wings, and I have nothing against your opinion here, but I think, personally, I still believe Son can't play in the left wing in this system because it's going to narrow us even more. And I think Kulusevski will narrow us even more. So I know what you're saying in terms of you want more creativity in the team, but I think in my rebuttal to that, or would be like, if you want that, put in Lo Celso. Play Lo Celso, Maddison, and like Sarr or Bentancur as your midfield three.
Yeah.
And then this for me, Johnson, and this is someone, by the way, who she speaks to Harry, by the way, he'll tell you, I've been criticising Johnson since like game week 2.
He was absolutely brilliant.
For the past few games, he's actually been pretty good.
Brilliant.
So he had to start. I think he had to start today.
I do understand that, but I think the problem is when West Ham are going to put 4 men in the box and 2 wing backs. One of our biggest criticisms about Johnson previous to the last few weeks was be more direct, run at your man, make him sweat, make him make the first move, and then leave him on his arse. And he did that so many times tonight. The problem was there's another wave of defenders in the way.
Yeah.
For me, I get your point with Son, and I 100% agree with you. In a normal game, Son out wide just doesn't work. But against a low block, having Son's ability to cross the ball in from deep into Richarlison, you would have Son whipping it that way, Kulusevski whipping it that way, with Richarlison in the middle. I just think that would have asked more questions of West Ham centre-backs than what we did tonight.
You could play 4-4-2 or do a different formation, but Ange won't change it. So
no, and I understand that because I'm like relating it to Football Manager. I'm the same. I do or die by the way I want to play. This is how I want to play.
For me, I see things more like, I'd happily adapt. Like when I play FIFA, I'll happily change the formation of the team 3 times in one game, depending on the circumstance.
But that's the problem. How can you build consistency if you can't? This is the thing, right? So let's say you can play 4-3-3 against a high line like Luton did, and you can blitz teams, you can hit them with pace, you can hit them on the counter, you can create loads of chances, score loads of goals, fair game. If you don't learn to adapt that 4-3-3 to also play against a low block, those players are only going to be one-dimensional. They're only ever going to be able to play against a certain style of play, which means we'll be great for picking points up against the top 6 sides, with the joint highest in the league for points against the top 6 sides, which was our biggest criticism under Pochettino during the time here. Exactly. Yeah. We can't afford to become so one-dimensional that we can beat these top 6 teams, but we can't go and beat the teams that are going to sit 10 men behind the ball.
Either have to, like, there's 2 tactics. You can either draw them out, which means giving them the ball. I know it sounds really counteractive, giving the opposition the ball because they might push up the pitch a bit. Or, I mean, another thing I thought in Ange's system you could tweak, and I know he won't do this, but, and this sounds very Conte-like the way I'm going to phrase this, but to use the wingers as sort of like wing backs on the touchline. Because right now, because the fullbacks invert, and in your argument playing Kulusevski and Son, they're both going to invert. Like even Werner, who I would thought would be one of the wingers we'd sign who wouldn't invert, he's like inverting.
My argument in this situation, though, you can invert but not come in. It sounds really stupid, right? But so you've got a right-footed winger on the left wing and a left-footed winger on the right wing. They can cut in, but cut in from wider positions. So at that point, then I haven't like.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to use my tactics board here as an example. I never thought I'd use this on a video. Let me change the magnets for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those 2. Right, so let's say you're attacking a box here, right? You can see it's great. So if you've got West Ham's 4 defenders. Oh my God, my magnets are stuck to my laptop. If you've got West Ham's 4 defenders here, right? Can't believe I'm using this in a non-football match video. So you've got West Ham's back 4 there, you can see, and you've got Son and Kulusevski as your 2 wide wingers, right?
Yeah.
Now, if they're tucked out wide here and they're cutting into their strong foots, the fullbacks are naturally going to try and tuck tighter to them. If they get those passes off, there's going to be spaces in here, and if the 2 centre-backs move wider to cover those spaces, there's going to be a gap in the middle for, in this case, Richarlison. That leaves the 2 centre-backs a lot more exposed. If you've then got, that's a red one, let me find a different one. Let me use a blue one. So if you've then got Richarlison in that gap there, right? If Richarlison's holding the ball up against those 2 centre-backs, and these gaps are bigger because the wingers have stayed wide but released the ball in from either side, there's going to be a position where the midfield runners are going to have space either side. That's where you would have had Maddison and Sarr, and it would have been a lot more effective. Whereas right now, we've paid pacing wingers that are coming down to the touchline, so they're coming to the touchline with them.
But we're so inverted.
Yeah, but even then, the wingers weren't. They were inverting, but even when you've got your wingers coming in here, the gap between the wingers and the fullbacks, there's not enough space.
That's what I'm trying to say. That there's not, because we're so inverted. All the players are so inverted.
My argument is, if you're inverted from the touchline, right? If you're inverted in terms of crossing on your strong foot,
I know what you're saying, because I think you're trying to relate it to. I know it sounds off the cuff, right? But you know the Nottingham Forest goal that Richarlison scored?
Where Kulusevski literally cuts it on his left foot, he bends it into that space, and because the fullback's out wide to him, but because he's, it's hard to explain.
But it means, David, it means we have to play more direct. We don't play this direct. That's the problem. We don't play this direct.
True, but
and Kulusevski is a problem. I don't know if you opened X earlier, but in itself, everyone's just slating Kulusevski. But my issue with Kulusevski is just his decision making. I don't know what's happened. It just takes way too long.
But this is the thing. I think because we're so used to having the ball, right? I think he's kind of. Let me just hand my tactics ball back.
Just having a lot of time on the ball.
Because he's used to having more time on the ball. When you're playing against a low block, you have to be quicker. And I think Kulusevski, high and wide, receiving the ball, going down to the line, knocking it onto his left, waiting. The minute the defender he moves slightly onto his left and whip it in. You'd have had Son at the back post, you'd have had Richarlison at the back post. And on the opposite end, look at how we scored the equaliser against Man City at the Etihad last year. If you'd have been on the other side, Son, bear in mind, we know Son can cross with both feet. So from the left, Son being high and wide, then you've got Richarlison in the middle to aim at. You've got Kulusevski coming into the back post. You've got midfield runners either side of Richarlison. That would have been so much more effective. We would have had, if you like, a 3 on the 2 centre-backs because the 2 full-backs would have been occupied. Okay, yeah, cool. Souček might have dropped deeper. Okay, cool. But then we're still 3 for 3. Even if West Ham had dropped another midfielder and we'd have had 3 attacking players per West Ham's 4 defensive players. At that point, you're talking about 2 defensive midfielders and 2 centre-backs camped on the edge of their 6-yard box. Now, the havoc in that situation, at some point in time, if the quality of crosses are enough from Son and Kulusevski, you're going to have a key chance. Because you're constantly asking defenders questions.
Son do really well on the left wing this season. This is only one game I can remember, if I'm being honest. Was Newcastle at home when he was ripping Trippier a new one. But
this is the point though. In this game we wouldn't have needed Son to burst past Soufal. Stay on him, get half a yard either side, and just whip that ball into the back post.
But then, no, I agree with you, David. But Ange don't play this way.
But you say that, though. But how many times has Pedro Porro, when he's been in an attacking position, whipped the ball into the 6-yard box?
I know you might think it's a lot, but it's actually not that much. The only time I've seen Porro do that is more late in games when Ange finally throws his plan A out the window and just goes, let's go 4-4-2. Like, Liverpool at home, we scored that goal.
Yeah.
For example, with Porro's whip ball when they went into their own goal.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think... It's like, when I watch us, right, it's like we're trying to walk into the net.
Do you know what? My stepdad literally said the same thing. I think the problem with trying to walk it into the net, or like my starting 11 personally, I would have started Bentancur as holding midfielder, Kulusevski and Maddison together.
Is that see, I would put Lo Celso with Maddison personally because
I just don't think Lo Celso's played enough. I don't really know what it is with him.
Oh, okay. But he played really well when he came
he was all right. But I think Kulusevski's height and his physicality against a Souček and
the only thing I'd worry about playing Kulusevski with Maddison is I worry about Kulusevski's. I don't know whether he can do both at the same time in terms of the running. Like Lo Celso at least has played a bit more in that.
I think Kulusevski can, because I think when Conte was basically playing in right wing back at one point.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
his defensive work rate was unbelievable.
No, his defensive work rate was really good, but then at a consequence of that, I think Ange.
And that's why you play. But that's why you play him and Maddison together.
You lose his creativity, though.
No, I don't think so, because you've got, with how much time we spent on the ball and how much time West Ham were camped back, I don't think that's a concern. I don't understand your point if we're playing Man City or Arsenal or Chelsea or Liverpool or whatever, but we're playing a team that we're deliberately sitting.
Is his inflexibility, and I'm not saying. See, this is where I compare, for example, Ange's first season with, say, Arteta's first season. When I look at Arteta in his first season at Arsenal, which, by the way, wasn't a success, just right off the bat. I know they won the FA Cup, which is where you could argue it actually was. But in terms of the league, most Arsenal fans was like Arteta out for 2-3 years, yeah? But what I noticed with him is because he knew he had worse defenders, he played 3 at the back. So he was willing to adapt. Now they play 4 at the back because they have Saliba and Gabriel. Because they spent
a fortune on players,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is because he has the players, he goes back to he can play his style. Let's argue, like even though he's adaptable, obviously because they went to the Etihad and part of the bus the other day. But would you ever see, like it's like Ange for me doesn't have the attacking players to play this system.
But this is what I'm saying though, right? So if Ange
you either change the formation in terms of, say, in the short term. I know it sounds mad because no one would agree with me going 4-4-2. And playing with Charleston with Son, or Werner with Charleston, or something like that.
But look, my argument against changing the formation is if he's come into that job interview and gone, "This is how I'm going to play, do or die, no matter what. This is how I'm going to play," and Levy's gone, "Okay, cool." If Ange finds a way, and I think this is a downfall of Jose Conte at Spurs, if Ange finds a way to get consistent results by throwing his plan out the window to work with the players he's got. Is Levy ever going to give him the next step as what he needs?
I see your argument.
If he plays this way and he goes to Daniel Levy, right, these are the games we've drawn, these are the games we've lost, these are the games we've won. Ignore the games we've won, the games we've drawn, the games we've lost. This is what could have been the difference. Now, I'm not going to change, which means if we play those same games against next season, expect the same results.
Or worse,
potentially. So you can either give me what I need to turn those draws into wins and those wins and those losses into draws, or you can accept the same, toned down by 10% next year because we're going to be playing in Europe as well.
And also because other teams will improve.
Exactly. I think Ange's using this as a model for Levy to go, these are the good bits, these are the average bits, these are the good...
Conte did that, though.
No, I don't think so, because I think Conte at one point in time, especially towards the beginning, found a way to get results with what he had. So Levy went, well, I don't need to give you another centre-back. I don't need to give you this. I don't need to give you that. So at that point, Levy went, okay, don't worry. Conte then didn't get what he asked for because he hadn't given a valid enough reason. Not just that, but he hadn't given a valid enough reason to prove that he needed those things. So that when he did get those things, he threw a hissy fit.
But then I disagree with that because he asked for a centre-half. We got bloody Longley on loan instead of Bastoni.
But that's what I'm saying. Though. For Levy to have felt like Bastoni was worth... Obviously, Bastoni didn't want to join anyway, but for Levy to feel like it was worth throwing everything in the kitchen sink at...
But he did that for Van der Ven.
Okay, but... and this proves exactly what you just said, just proving my point. Ange's taken the data of the players Spurs have got and gone, I'm going to play this way no matter what. Now, if you want Joe Rodon chasing back, we are going to lose, no disrespect to Joe Rodon, we're going to lose 10, 15 games on the bounce because he is not quick enough. But I don't care because this is how you are hiring me to play. And Levy's gone, what's the bare minimum you need to at least get some results playing this way? I want this, or this. This is my first choice. This is a very closely followed second choice. I'm not telling you my third choice until you've proven to me you can't get one or two. And we went almost all in for Tapsoba. Tapsoba, Leverkusen were playing hardball. And then we went all in for Mackie van der Ven. And it was clear to see that Ange would have been happy with whichever one.
I'd argue, though, and this is me defending Levy, I think Van der Ven was his first choice. Because
I do think so.
I think Ange wanted him at Celtic.
Not just that as well, but I think having a left-sided centre half
is
so much better for playing out the back. And I've always been like that. And we had Jan Vertonghen for years. We reaped the rewards.
I think Van der Ven's better than Vian. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like,
I'm not going to comment on that because I'm going to break my heart when I say it. But
Mickey's for me, I want Van der Ven to be club captain personally. If I'm being honest with you,
I think in the long term, but it comes back to what we said the other day when we were talking about him. That I think he will get that when he feels he's earned it and not before.
Because I've seen him today, man, and he's like screaming at.
Honestly, he is absolutely brilliant, but he's still so young. I think it's too early for that yet.
But then you could argue, and this is a concept. I need to come on to Son in a second, but you could argue that because we're doing a new side, we should be making someone like that captain because he's part of the new setup.
But
maybe not now, but next year.
But maybe not now. But I think as Sonny's phased out, I definitely think he'll be one of the options. Yeah. I think if Romero, I think Romero will move up to captain when Sonny loses it over Maddison, and then I think Van der Ven will become
I think he's got too much in a bit. Too much mouth, I think.
And then I think Van der Ven will replace Romero as vice captain, so we have a centre back leader. No matter when we're playing,
for me, I want Mickey as captain, man. The guy is just
he's unbelievable. But do you understand what I'm saying though? That I think Ange has clearly done that with Van der Ven in the summer. Yeah. So I would imagine that he's doing the same thing again.
But then you could argue. See, I think a lot of these signs in the summer were half club, half Ange. Like Van der Ven, 100% Ange. Solomon was club signing 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Johnson, I think he was club signing.
I don't think Johnson was a club signing. Because if you look at the type of wingers Ange uses, he loves blistering pace.
The only reason I'm saying it is because I know we were looking at him for 2 years. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the marriage of the two. But I
think that is probably. I think Levy's gone. Look, these are some of the options, and Ange's gone. Actually, I do like him. He would have been on my list as well. Get him in. I think it was a mutual.
Vicario, I don't know. I'm a bit iffy.
I think Vicario and Raya, I think, was the exact same as Van der Ven and Tapsoba. Ange had two choices. He said to the club, "Get me one of these two."
And also didn't pay for Raya, did we? So.
And I think the club went, we're going to pay the same for Raya as we're going to pay for him. Who do you want? They're both going to join if we bid. We'll get both bids accepted. It's both around the same price. Who do you want? And I think character-wise, he's gone for Vicario. So again, I think that is a club a manager signing.
In terms of the youngsters, they're definitely club signings. I don't think even though Vélez even was Ange.
Yeah, I don't think he was, no.
I just assume all the youngsters are club signings because I don't think any of these managers sit down and watch. I might be wrong, right? Of course, watch so much youth football that they go, "Oh, I'll pick out the specific."
I think Spurs will look for players that could fit into Ange's style, bring them in while they're cheap, try and develop them. Worst case, if they don't work, they'll sell them on for a profit. Best case scenario, I mean, that Sevilla loan, I knew it was going to be shit anyway. It really pissed me off, to be honest. But I think that's one of those situations where the club have gone, these are some of the youngsters we're looking at. Do you think they'll mould? Yeah, if they do well, if they improve, cool. We'll bring them in for cheap prices, put them in the academy, loan them out a few times, see how it goes.
Do you want to talk about Son?
Yeah, let's talk about Son. So
I'm going to go on to what I went and repeat what I said on Friday. Just before, as a caveat to this, before anyone's watching this again, because I got slaughtered for this on Monday. Yesterday, actually, it feels like it was like a time ago for some reason because it was such a eventful stream. But anyway, I said that we need to go out and sign a top striker in the summer to not only replace Harry Kane, of course, but also to take Son's spot. And I also argue that Son, for me, and I've been saying this, by the way, since he was named club captain, he's not captain material. I don't see him on the pitch, for example, today, galvanising the team when we're 1-0 down, screaming at players. I see it more from players like Højbjerg, Vicario, even Van der Ven, even Romero to a lesser extent, or Maddison. Yeah. I don't see him leading a team. And some people may argue, Son leads by example.
I was going to say that. I was going to literally the words out of my mouth.
He's a nice guy. But I'd argue that Son, when things are going well, 100% Son is like a great captain because he will just carry on the vibes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But in football, as we know, is ups and downs. And unfortunately, you need to go for captains who I'm not saying when we're winning, I want the captain to grab players and have a go at them. By the way, just right. But
Harry has been known to say that, by the way, in the past, just so people know.
But as in,
sorry to throw you in the shit there, but it's true.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, like, as in, I want someone who, when we're like 3-0 down to Fulham or 2 down to Fulham, to grab these players and go, guys, fucking wake up. Like, as in, and I don't see someone doing that. He just claps. Oh yeah, go on. Like, I don't see it, and I think it's partly a marketing choice. I'm still stand by what I said. It was partly a marketing choice. If you go into the Spurs stadium, I'm not going to say anything more than that. In the Spurs shop, we know what happens. Who spends the most? And also, I didn't say to sell Son, but everyone obviously took it out of context, saying, "Oh, we need better players than Son. You want me to sell him?" No, like you just said earlier in this recording, we should phase him out.
Yeah.
But for me, we need to sign a number 9, and we need a left winger, and we need a right winger in the summer. I'd argue a front 3 is like paramount. Yeah. And then we need a number 6. I mean, because Højbjerg's going anyway, so yeah.
I said this. I was playing FIFA with a mate the other day, and I said, for me, a great window for me. Werner on a permanent. People can shoot me like I genuinely think he's been brilliant. I genuinely think he's been brilliant. And you're not going to go and get 60, 70 million pound squad players. You're just not. So for me, 17 million.
The problem with this though, with doing Werner, right, is watch what will happen. They'll sell Richarlison, and they'll because I think that's when they happen. They're going to sell Richarlison.
Yeah, I think that's coming in the summer as well.
And the problem is that I'm only okay. This is how it's going to come across. I don't mind keeping Werner as a squad player, but I want our squad players to be Werner, Johnson, and Son. You don't want to have to name the squad players, but like that's how I'm going to say it, just to make it simple. And I want a left winger, a right winger, and a striker as well on top of that. Like okay, I'm talking at elite level. Should I say why? Because the only reason this system works is if we have an elite attack, because it's so attack heavy. Like the whole system literally relies on these front 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna say now for me, and I'm like some people might say it's realistic, unrealistic. For me, a great, somewhat realistic window. Mm-hmm. Jared Branthwaite.
I love him, but
I think to rotate with Van der Ven, we're going to be in 2 competitions, and I just don't.
By the way, I love Branthwaite. Just so you know,
he is the one I would potentially leave out because I think Ben Davies is a rotational centre half. We said it. We said it several times. I think he'll be all right for another year and then let him go. Yeah. Onana. And I'm not rating Everton, by the way, but I genuinely think he's a top.
Jesus, like they're going down. Let's go rate him.
I genuinely think he's a top 6. And I think
I haven't seen enough of him to judge. By the way, just so you guys know.
I think he's a
top level 6. Paulinho at Fulham. That's what I keep.
But I'm not sure with Paulinho personally. Werner on a permanent. We need a left back rotation for Destiny. He cannot play 2 games a season, 2 games a week, every single week the entire year next year. He just can't do it.
Everyone says, by the way, Harry Scott says Alfie Doughty at Luton, but I saw him on the weekend against us. I wasn't that impressed, to be honest.
To be fair, he has been amazing for Luton this year. And he will start for England in years to come, and he is really young.
He's 25, though.
I thought he was 22.
I thought it was 25 when I checked. I was like...
Let me check. I could be wrong here, but... he's 24. He turns 25 in December.
By the time... Yeah, almost by the time he comes.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it one of those, though... Because bearing in mind, he's played for Luton for a while. Is it one of those where... He hasn't really blossomed. This
is what worries me with him. Like you said, I know I'm contradict myself, right? Because I'd go big on those 4 positions, the 6 and the front 3, right? And I'd get Werner as like the squad option, as like the cheaper, yeah. And I'd go cheap. You know what? United years ago got Raphael and what was the other guy? Fabio? Was it
Fabio? Yeah.
I'd go and do something like that for the fullbacks.
Anyone got any Brazilian brothers?
Anyone got any like youngsters like coming through?
Mate, have you got a twin?
You know, like we did with the Dogi, right?
Yeah.
And we need to go sign 2 players like that.
Destiny, have you got a younger brother, bro?
Yeah. That's what I would do. I'll go heavy on the 3.
And then less on the rotation.
Can sign as the squad players, like the 4th, let's say. So we're signing 4 attackers. And I'd have to push Kulusevski as the 10. And I think Lo Celso is probably going to be on his way out, unfortunately. I think Højbjerg will go. I think Richarlison will go, and what I do is I do Son as like the backup striker ish.
Yeah. So for me, if we're building a squad, we've got,
and then number 6 obviously will take because Højbjerg's going, and like I said, the Celso's probably going to go as well. So you're going to need to fill that spot.
I think the advantage we've got
Skip
here.
Skip can stay as homegrown.
I think the advantage we've got here is. So we've already got 2 goalkeepers. They're forced to stay. Obviously, we discussed his injury earlier when we did
I don't think the goalkeepers. I know everyone says if a guy gets injured, we're screwed. But honestly, I'm one of these very few people. I'd rather see someone like Austin give it a go.
Yeah. So goalkeepers position, I think we're fine.
I know
right back position. I know you've had your conversation about Emerson, but I think Rome wasn't built in a day, and I just don't see that being swapped next season. Romero Dragusin is great right-sided centre half rotation. Davies and Van der Ven, and then obviously Phillips as a 5th choice option if we need it. I think the centre back depth is perfect. Destiny's only left back because let's be realistic. Heung is not a left back. He might as well be a paraplegic, let alone a left back. So Destiny for me, we need left back rotation. The advantage we've got now is Højbjerg gets sold. Basuma moves to rotation. You bring in an upgrade in a 6. Perfect.
Bentancur can also play there.
No, but I'm talking like position by position. Sarr and Bentancur is the box to box. You've already got 2. Basuma can cover both if need be. Skip can cover both if need be. So you're more than depth in that position.
I think they're going to keep Skip because he's homegrown.
Yeah. So you're more than covered in those 2 midfield roles. If Lo Celso's going and Kulusevski's moving in, then you've got 2 more attacking midfielders, Maddison and Kulusevski. So you don't need to buy. So effectively, you're selling 2 midfielders, but you only need to buy 1. You're selling Lo Celso, selling Højbjerg. You only need to buy 1 elite 6.
This is why I'd go heavier on the attack.
For me personally, I think if Brennan Johnson keeps this form to the end of the season, I think you have to give him. Don't get me wrong, we do need another right winger, but I don't think it's as paramount to bring in a starter as what it originally was. For me, in a dream world, I would sell Richarlison, bring in Isaac.
Mate, do you know how much I want Isaac, man?
He would fit this system perfectly.
No, he's got 15 league goals, right?
Mate, it's fucking bonkers.
You know, so my dad goes to me, if like maybe a month or 2 ago, says to me, Isak won't do it. Why do you want him to come?
Mate, he's so
Why do you rate him? And then now, in the past 5 games, the guy's just blitzed the league. And he will link with us, I think, today. Because what it is, Newcastle have to sell.
Yeah.
So if it was me, I'd go get Isak.
Yeah. If we're talking about a dream window, I'd go Isak there. I'd go.
If it was me, I'd go Isak.
Werner rotation. Who else?
And then I want the Napoli winger, man. We need to go get that Georgian winger, man.
Okay, I can't say his name. Yeah.
Okay. And then I'd go for someone like Chiesa on the right. But I don't know about Chiesa is his injury prone. I know they're looking at Rafinha as well, though.
Yeah, see, that was the name I think of. Rafinha, I see as being someone who we bring in. Someone who's a bit more like...
Because I think they're winning stuff for 45, 50 million.
I think we'll have 2 versions of each winger, 1 on each side. So we'll have a right-footed pace merchant on the right-hand side, a left-footed pace merchant on the right-hand side, a right-footed pace merchant on the left-hand side. So I think the other option will be a left-footed player on the right. Or, to be honest with you, I see us having... Brennan Johnson and...
Who's going to play on the right then? Because if you're moving Kulusevski inside...
Who did we just say? Brennan Johnson
Rafinha.
And Rafinha. Son covering... Werner for the left. Son covering the left and the middle. And then bringing an elite striker.
Like Isak.
Yeah. If we were to bring in Isak, Rafinha, a top level 6 and Destiny rotation, I think you'd say that's a perfect window. Realistically. And then next season, Son can either play on the left or rotate with Werner across the middle, rotate both. And then next season, we go and get a elite level.
I'm not saying I don't want to make me sound like condescending or something, but when you say Son and Werner on the left, they're very similar on the left-hand side. They both do the same thing.
No, but what?
Which is what really pushing for us to go very heavy on the attack.
But what you've got to remember, we're not going to go and buy 3 elite level attacks. It's just not going to happen.
I just gave you 3 players, plus Werner's the cheap one.
Yeah, but Levy's not going to do that. He's not going to go and sign 3 players in that position. For me, right now, the most important position in this team is the 6. Because Basuma is a shadow of what he was at the start of the season. And the attack starts from there.
Like, you look at Rodri, and I'm sorry to say this, Declan Rice.
Declan Rice, yeah. No,
I was one of the people who said Rice was worth the money, by the way. Much to dismay of other Spurs fans.
Yeah, I might have changed my opinion on that. Maybe
For me with Rice, yeah, I knew he was a baller from like years ago. I watched him at West Ham for a lot. I just like watching football. Maybe it's that I like watching football, but I've liked Rice for ages. Like even we're talking 3-4 years ago. And when he signed for Arsenal, a lot of Arsenal fans I'm actually friends with, David, were actually quite against it. They were like,
yeah,
why is he signed? And I explained to them, he's English. He's obviously now the captain of England. He's West Ham's best player. The guy is world class in my opinion, and I prefer him to Rodri personally. This is just a personal preference.
I disagree. I think Rodri's just that little level above, but I think Rice could be.
But this is personal preference. It's personal preference. I just prefer Rice. I just think he's just. I don't know what it's about. I just think he's just very cool, calm, collected. He reads the game so well, and I think he has the highest number of interceptions or something. Or I was reading that the other day. But the guy has transformed Arsenal this season. I'm sorry, like he's taking them to the next level. I don't think that result they got at the Etihad would have been possible without Rice. I'd argue.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Because I just think he's just made that.
But what sixes to that level are there that we could go and get? If I said to you 100 million right now,
everyone says Paulinho from Fulham, but I don't know if I want it.
I don't see it.
It's like Grealish, yeah. I do want. I'm going to go on record for say this. I do not want Jack Grealish in the system. Shall I tell you why? The same issues we have with Kulusevski on the right, we're going to have on the left with Grealish. He's going to cut in, do that. The same bollocks we see as Kulusevski on the right, we're going to see on the left with Grealish.
I'll give you that then, because Grealish was my left wing option. I rotated with Werner. I just completely forgot to mention him. I
don't want him because I just think we'll have the same problems. Same with Neto. He's too injury prone. I know he's the number they're looking at, but
yeah,
he's just too injury prone, man. Like, don't get me wrong, he destroyed us.
Do you know what, right? I don't think they'd sell him, but. And people might find it controversial. If we could get Doku, I'd take that on the left for me.
Yeah, he ain't going to sell Doku. I know.
No, but do you know what I mean? He just doesn't see. He just seems to be out of favour. But I don't know if it's just because he's a youngster. I said the same thing about Foden. I thought Foden would be sold by City if Pep wouldn't give him.
I think he's going to keep Foden now because
he will do now. Yeah,
had a massive change this season, hasn't he?
But I don't think it's that. I think Pep eased Foden in right. I just think I was an idiot and.
Well, you didn't like Foden, okay. Yeah. This becomes like an England debate for the England side because a lot of people saying play Foden, Rice and Bellingham. And I'm like, I just think that's too unbalanced personally. I think I'd play Mainu from United or someone like that.
I don't even want to hear that kid's name.
And
He's been
Rice,
on the scene 2 fucking minutes. I'm not.
And Rice, and I'd put Bellingham in the number 10.
We'll do an England video. Where
we'll do an England one. Even though 11, but
I'm not talking about. No, this kid's been on the scene 2 minutes. I don't want to hear these.
But the problem is England don't have a number 6 because Calvin Phillips has gone way off the boil.
Declan Rice. Hello.
No, I want to see Rice. Look at Arsenal. We've got Jorginho with Rice. I want to see Rice playing alongside someone like that.
Jorginho with Rice. You're making it sound like it's a Chinese order.
Yeah, Chinese takeaway. No, but as in
Can I have my Jorginho with side of Rice?
Jorginho with Rice.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
We need someone like that play with Rice for England, and I'll put Bellingham as number 10. He can play with Kane.
Anyway, this is a Spurs video.
Foden on the left and
let's not talk about England,
right.
but I don't know. I just don't think we're going
to. So I was going to say about Johnson. I just don't want to. Another thing about bringing the right winger is I don't want to overplay Johnson because we saw what happened with Saka.
Yeah.
I think he's been overplayed massively at Arsenal.
On the topic, I mentioned Rafinha as an option. It doesn't necessarily mean I want Rafinha.
They are looking at him. They are looking at him.
We seem to
because I think Barca have to sell, so they might.
Everyone has to sell
40 million. So 40 million. Probably.
See, 40 million. I'd take that. To be fair,
you got Werner for 15, him for 40.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Isak for like 60, 70.
I'm gonna quote you on this in the summer. Yeah. How much do you think we'll spend?
150 million. But are you talking about net, or are you talking about?
No. Like
overall.
in the green, how much do you think we'll spend?
In the green,
not in the green. I know what I mean. Like,
do you mean as in revenue used without player sales, or do you mean as in
just total spend? You know what? This guy on deadline.
Ignore sales, including sales. Okay,
yeah, just total spend. How much do you think we'll spend?
Like 180 million, something.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even think we'll hit the 100 million mark next year.
You don't think?
No.
Who are we going to get with that money then? You're going to sign 4 players with that 4 or 5 players.
This is what I'm saying. I genuinely think Spurs has been for a massive shock this summer. I don't think we're going to improve the way people think we are.
Then Ange can kiss his title challenge next season goodbye because that's what I've been hearing from a lot of people saying Spurs think they're going to challenge for the title next season.
No, and Ange said he doesn't want to take a step back That's what he said.
Did you not hear his quotes today? About 12 months. If I'm not in a title challenge in 12 months, then I've been a disappointment or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be in title challenge spending that. Just not.
No, I agree with you, but that's what I'm saying. I think the two. Anyway.
So Ange and they're either going to have a punch up, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So your best Spurs player for the match, you said Brennan Johnson or Mickey Van der Ven.
Yeah.
Who do you think was the worst player?
Shades it just slightly.
Who would you say was the worst player?
Because of his goal, I just think he actually did all right.
Yeah. Who would you say was our worst player today?
That's a tough one to pick.
I can't lie. I'm gonna say Son.
Son.
I'm gonna say Son. It breaks my heart, but
you know what? Like it just makes me laugh because I got so much crap during that stream for criticizing Son. I opened X after the game today. Everyone's like, "Get rid of him," and I'm like, "Hold on, I didn't say to get rid of him." And it's not nothing to do with me, but it's just funny.
Where do you think we'll finish then? Because I feel like we haven't actually spoken as much about the game. We just ran it. Fifth. Who do you think will finish above us?
Villa. Forget United. I think United are out of it.
So we're 2 points behind Villa with 8 games to go.
Played the same amount of games, right? I think.
Yeah. Villa have got City.
They've got to go to City tomorrow, right? Haven't they? I think.
City, Brentford, Arsenal. They're in the Conference League knockouts. Chelsea and Liverpool. We've got
Newcastle.
We've got Newcastle,
Liverpool,
Arsenal,
Chelsea.
Liverpool, Chelsea. No. We've got Newcastle, City. Newcastle, Arsenal, City, Liverpool,
and Chelsea because that game has been.
Oh yeah, and Chelsea. Sorry, no, you are right. Yeah.
So they're probably even out of level of fixtures.
I think we'll finish above them. I think the teams that attack us will have more joy against. Not everyone's going to sit there and do a West Ham. I mean, so
you know what? After what Newcastle did on the weekend, I'm scared of going to St James's Park.
I'm not, because it showed that they can be exploited. As long as we're clinical, we'll be fine.
You know what? If Eddie Howe will probably keep his job now, I think.
No, I think he's still gone at the end of the season. I think it'll be a mutual agreement. So
but then who are they going to bring in though? Like, who is that out there? Conte.
Jose Mourinho. I said it the minute the owners took over. I think Jose's destined to go to Newcastle at some point. So
he always goes to that one clubs like that.
We'll predict our results from the end of the season.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Tottenham, Nottingham Forest.
I think Tottenham beating Forest.
Yeah, we're beating Forest. I'm so annoyed because if that had been an hour later, I could have gone to that after work.
Really? Because it's 6 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, it would have been perfect for you. I'm fucking working Sunday again. It's bullshit.
You know, it was meant to be on the Monday night, and I think they moved it to the Sunday for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. Newcastle, Tottenham, I'm going to say draw.
I think Newcastle are going to beat us.
Tottenham City, I'm going to say draw.
You know what? This will be so Spurs. We're going to beat City.
Yeah. Tottenham Arsenal, I'm going to say draw right now. I think we're probably going to lose, but I'm going to say draw. Yeah.
I think we 2-2.
Liverpool loss.
That's
optimistic.
Caveat to let's see the form beforehand, because it wouldn't surprise me also come to Spurs and win. This wouldn't surprise me.
Liverpool Anfield will lose.
We don't get anything there, so
no.
Forget that.
Burnley will win.
Yeah, and Sheffield United.
Sheffield United will win.
And Chelsea away?
I think we might beat them away.
I don't know, you know.
I think we'll beat Chelsea away and put the final nail in Poch's coffin.
I think Poch is going regardless anyway.
Exactly, so can we just kick him while he's down?
Kick him on. You know what, if Ange leaves though, do you think they'll probably bring back Poch again? I don't want him back. I don't want him back.
No. Hold on. Did you really just say if Ange leaves? Have I convinced you that Levy's going to wind him up so much with transfers that he's going to walk?
Yeah, that's what you told me like 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's what I told you. I think it's going to happen.
So that happens.
When have you ever agreed with my opinion?
But the only thing I'll say is I have an inkling that you might be right with that. Is because of his comments today saying if in 12 months I'm not in the title race, I'm going to be like pissed. That's basically what he said, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I don't think in 12 months we're going to be in a title race, if I'm being realistic.
To be fair,
you're asking for Liverpool to drop, which I'm saying is quite realistic to happen. City might drop because Pep.
But I don't think right. But hold on a second.
But the problem is next
City
season.
and
I know
Liverpool-
the season hasn't even finished yet. I'm more scared. I'm scared of Arsenal next season already, and the season hasn't even ended.
Arsenal, and
City.
I don't think they're going to be as hard to catch as what people think. Our biggest problem is consistency. Now, I would potentially argue that only playing once a week has allowed us less match playing time to embed Ange's tactics. If the players were playing a low block in Europe, that's easier to break down naturally than a Premier League low block, right?
Yeah, because
if we're playing Astra fucking Gugu or whoever the fucking the Europa is,
Astra fucking.
I think those kind of results would reinforce the positive things the style of play is doing, that it would be naturally more effective against higher quality opponents. I think the fact that we've had a Premier League game, then a week, a Premier League game, then a week, a Premier League game, then 10 days, a Premier League game, then
I see your argument, but then some people argue the other way around, saying that because there's more time you can on the training pitch, you can train them.
But ultimately, the way you truly implement something, the training pitch is the theory, the match day is the practical.
So do you think, on reflection, then
you need the balance of both?
I'm not
it's been a bit one-sided.
Because I know what the Spurs fans this season were saying they're better not being in Europe. But then, on reflection, do you think it would be better if we were in Europe this season? Based on what you just said to me?
I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Based on what you just said.
I think if we were in the Conference League, yes. If we were in anything higher than that, no.
Oh, Europa will get trounced, I think.
No, not even that. But I think the Europa, then all of a sudden you're having to start playing constant mishmash 11s. I think this is why depth in early is more important this summer. If we get the players we want in early, get the sales out early, then those players will have had a full pre-season. I don't think it'll be as much of a problem. And then we'll reap the rewards.
I think we'll have a transfer window stream or whatever you want to call it, recording at some point anyway, because
we'll have to.
It's important to speak about the fact that there's a Euros in the summer, because that does affect things a lot, and there's a Copa America as well. So players won't want to be, quite uncertain about where they're going to be in those time periods. I think, in terms of club-wise, there might be some deals that are going to be delayed till after the Euros.
I would imagine, I'm not going to lie to you, I would imagine a lot of our deals are going to be done before the Euros.
You think?
I think so, yeah. I think Ange knows now what he needs. There's no if, buts, or maybes. Ange knows what he needs. He would have already sat down with Levy and gone over a shopping list for the summer, and Levy will be putting feelers out. And clubs will be going, look, my player will talk to you. Let's get to the end of the season first. And Levy will be on the phone the day after the season's finished.
You hope, but
look at Dragusin. Dragusin's agent said, and Dragusin said he did not want to move during the summer.
I know they're also looking at. I don't rate this guy, by the way, just to say no. With Jonathan David,
I don't rate him either.
I don't, but they are looking at him. Brian Daigle said, and I trust his.
He's rapid, but again, I don't think he's clinical.
His finishing is not good enough.
No.
From what I've seen, at least. I don't think he's that level that we need. For me, Isak, I'm glad you mentioned him, because he's definitely one I really want.
Yeah.
I think he's attainable. If Newcastle have problems, I think he's attainable.
Where are they in the league at the minute?
Because I heard the story, this was like a year or two ago, saying that Newcastle were willing to sell Bruno Guimaraes for like 80 to 100 million to Real Madrid or Barcelona, which means they must have foreseen something.
Yeah.
Need to sell.
I mean, Newcastle right now, they're a point behind West Ham with a game in hand.
And they're like 8th or 9th or something.
They're 8th. They're two. To be fair, if Brighton win their game in hand on West Ham, then Brighton go a point ahead of them. They move down to 9th. So if Newcastle end up with no European football next season, I think they'll have to cut down.
Also, there's FFP.
But then do you think they'll not try and sell players like Tonali and Bruno who might want to go and play in Europe?
Who's going to buy Tonali now, though? With all this,
yeah,
you might have to wait 2 years to sell Tonali. I mean, it might be that sort of situation.
Which means they're going to have somebody extremely expensive on their wage bill for a considerable period of time.
Because who's going to buy him with all these bans?
Yeah,
I mean, but then we say that teams still want Ivan Toney.
On that topic,
I don't want Ivan Toney, just so you know.
I'm glad, because I don't want him either. I think he's an absolute bellend personally.
Yeah. I don't think Andrew won him because of his attitude. So.
No, I don't think so. He
That's why I
mugged
don't
off
think he wants
Peterborough, he's mugged off Brentford.
Yeah.
2 days into Spurs, we call him Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? We've had enough of those already, so we don't need any more.
I met
Spurs
Daniel after 2 days and I'd won out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Isak's a great shout. I didn't think of him.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of Spurs YouTubers who actually talking about Isak.
I think we need to get to the end of the season. We need to see where we're at. I'd like to make it clear now. This is probably not going to be a regular thing on the Spurs show. It's just because I was off work today.
Right after the game.
I was able to watch the game. Everything came in. When it comes to European games next year, and we're playing on a Tuesday, then we'll definitely be able to do that again. But they will probably be the only ones because I work at the weekends. I can watch half an hour here.
I see we'll do that. Obviously, sometimes it depends what time I get back from the stadium if we're in Champions League.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If I'm stuck on like the bus at like 11 o'clock.
If it's like away games and stuff, whatever, but we'll figure
out.
Away
games is fine because I'm watching them at home.
So we'll figure out how to do it.
Home games, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Other than that,
sometimes it's not out of my control. Sometimes the bus takes bloody forever. We're stuck in traffic for like an hour. Off the Great Cambridge roundabout. That's where I come back from.
Yeah.
You probably don't know about the roundabout. It's a horrible roundabout. Yeah. Because I go past on the way home. I go past the hospital.
Yeah.
And then turn left, and I get on to the what's it called? North Cirque, A10, and then we get to the roundabout, and then go down there and go home. Down Palmer's Green.
I could never live in London, man. Fuck that.
But honestly, that roundabout, David, is like, I don't know if anyone from here lives around where I live, but the Great Cambridge roundabout is bloody horrible, man. I hate that roundabout so much.
Yeah.
I've driven on it before. I hate it so much.
I could never drive in London.
Even experienced drivers, David, hate this roundabout. It's because it has lights on it. Like, it's a bit messed up. You'd have to see it and be like, what? It's such a horrible roundabout. It's like a normal one, you know, when you like go and just.
I've driven in London once. I could never do it again.
Like
personally, I just get the train. It's easier.
Is it 4 lanes? Something ridiculous.
When I can get from my front door to White Hart Lane on a good day in like 40 odd minutes, there's literally no point in me driving.
No, you might as well get the train.
Exactly. So,
like when I go from work, I just get the train. So it's easy.
Yeah. Right, I think we're going to call it. We basically just rambled. This is meant to be a review of the game, and it's.
Next week is Guess Who, isn't it?
Yes, right? Next week. Yeah, so next week we're going to do Tottenham Hotspur Guess Who from the Redknapp era onwards.
2013, did you say?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Maybe be onwards, I think.
It's just going to be a good laugh and a joke. And then the following week, I don't know what we're going to do the following week. So we'll do the 2 in April, and then the first one in May won't be until... potentially the 14th.
Is it because of games and stuff?
No, because I'm on holiday.
Oh, really? Where are you going?
I got 3 days in Bologna, 2 days in Florence.
Oh, really?
From the 25th of April.
I've been to Florence. It's really nice. Honestly, it's such a nice area.
I can't wait. It's been on my list since I was a kid.
I've been Bologna though. It's about Italy, right? You're going to Italy?
Yeah. So I get back
in June. So that's a long time.
I don't get back till the Wednesday the 1st anyway. And then I'll see. We might be able to do on the 7th. I'll see how I'm feeling. Depends on if I get everything caught up. And then the 21st, I've got a concert. So we won't do one that week either. And then I'm visiting my little...
What concert is it?
I'm going to see Nickelback again. I can't wait. Can't wait.
We'll just play it by ear, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out and stuff. There might be a few odd ones missing here.
But I'm enjoying these, to be honest, even though we were rambling on for like an hour.
It's good because it's so laid back. It's so casual. I can genuinely sit here like falling asleep as I'm talking. Like it's so. I don't feel like I have to structure an argument or whatever.
Well, by the way, guys, I don't know if you guys see me on YouTube, but this is the most chilled you ever hear me, because if you see me on YouTube, normally it gets into heated debates and heated arguments with people. But
this is the one thing is today it's hard to be fair. I've been up since 6:30 and I've been on the go all day, which is why I'm tired. But generally, it's a lot like laid back and.
That's what I mean. It's probably my favourite show of the week, if I'm being honest. Because it's just so laid back. Normally, the other ones I have to get in there ready with like points.
Yeah,
random.
It's so structured. Whereas this, we've just gone on the most random.
And I'm just like, we just go straight after the game. We just rambled on about random.
For those of you guys watching this, I've got a Spurs Football Manager video coming. It's very, very, very interesting. I've done half the prep for it. This video has been like 3 weeks in the making. I've got another half of prep to do. and then hopefully I'll be able to record that on Saturday, maybe, to put it out next week.
Mm.
I've got a Football Manager Tactics video I want to record, ideally before I go on holiday. And I've got one other Football Manager video I want to record before I go on holiday as well. And then when I get back, it'll be the Bologna save.
You should do some like vlogging there or something.
Yeah, I'm going to vlog the whole trips. The Bologna save.
Honestly, man, I love
first
Italy.
video.
It's such a nice country.
Like talking about the save and stuff is ready to go. That video is scheduled, edited, ready to go. I'm just waiting for it to be closer to the time. There's no point me putting it out and then not going on holiday for 6 weeks and then people go, where the fuck's episode 1? I haven't gone on holiday yet. Other than that, pretty much that's it. Up the fucking Spurs. Fuck off West Ham. I have nothing else to say. On to Forest at the weekend. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.